Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Bhagavad, third canto, chapter 21, text 5. Ruchir, Yaha, Bhagavan, Brahman, Yakshaha, Sarja, Bhutani, Labla, Bharyam, Cha, Manavim, Shriyo Bhagavan Brahman, Akshova Brahmana Sutta, Sarja Bhutani, Labla Bharyam Jamanavi, Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman, Akshova Brahmana Sutta, Sarja Bhutani, Labla Bharyam Jasmanavi, Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman, Akshova Brahmana Sutta, Sarja Bhutani, Labla Bharyam Jamanavim, Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman, Dakshova Brahmana Sutta, Yatha Sasarja Bhutani, Labva Bharyam Chamanavi,
Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman, Dakshova Brahmana Sutta, Yatha sasarja bhutani labdva bharyam cha manavim
Ruchiryo Bhagavan Brahman Raksho va Brahmana Sutta Yata Sasarja Bhutani Labdva Bharyam Cha Manavim.
Can we hear the class downstairs? Are they hearing the class downstairs?
Talk to Joseph, but Joseph is working on it, I think. I told him about it.
Any synonyms? Word for word. Ruchi. Yaha. Who. Bhagavan. Worshipful. Brahman. O holy sage. Daksha. Daksha. And. Brahmanaha. Of Lord Brahma. Sutaha. The sun. Yata. In that way. Sasarja. Generated. Bhutani. Offspring. O holy sage, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, son of Brahma, echo here. O holy sage, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, the son of Brahma, generated children after securing as their wives the other two daughters of Swayambhuvamana. Purport. Someone can read that? Microphone.
All the great personalities who increased the population in the beginning of the creation are called Prajapatis. Brahma is also known as Prajapati, as were some of his later sons. Swayambhuva Manu is also known as Prajapati, as is Daksha, another son of Brahma. Swayambhuva had two daughters, Ahuti and Prasuti. The Prajapati Ruchi married Ahuti and Daksha married Prasuti. These couples and their children produced immense number of children to populate the entire universe. Vidura's enquiry was, how did they beget the population in the beginning?
That's a good question. This question comes up now. How did we get human beings? And the theory is that human beings are entities that have evolved from lower species, which were the only living things existing millions of years ago. That's the theory. It's a current scientific theory. And these very small-celled, very tiny celled organisms grew, mutated, and they kept trying to find they could get higher, and they're trying to survive, and accidentally they made some mutation, and another creature, the entity, was generated and mutated. This is their theory. But we see that Bhagavatam has a different view. Bhagavatam says that Vedic literature claims in the beginning there's only one being, Eko Bahusham. And Bhagavatam also has 4 verses, the seed verses of the Bhagavatam, explaining that before the creation, Narayan existed. And after the creation is wound up, annihilated, only there will be Narayan. It's very important. So the original living being is Narayan. We also learn from the Vedas that those living entities, and although they're not Narayan, they're not in the category of being supreme, Parabrahman, but they're also eternal. Jnanam, Chaitanya Chaitanya, Kama. The Lord is eternal, Narayan, and all living entities are also eternal. The difference is that the living entities are limited. They can't even maintain themselves. They're unable to exist without the Supreme. And the Supreme being is always existing. And the entities always exist. Ekale Ishvara Krishna, Arjuna Vracha. All of the entities are servants of the one master, Ishvara. He is the only real Ishvara. All those others may be considered powerful and influential, but they cannot compare to Narayan or Vishnu. Even Lord Shiva is very powerful, Mahadev, great demigod. He cannot be compared to Vishnu. If someone compares the demigods such as Brahma or Shiva to Narayan or Vishnu, then that person is a Pashandi. He's deviated, misunderstanding, becomes godless, he becomes an atheist. No one can compare to Vishnu, God. All the other living entities are his energies, his parts and parcels. And in that way, the living entities should be understood as being parts, individual, separated parts and parcels. And they live eternally. And when they agree to use all their capabilities, all their senses, all their wealth and everything they have, if they engage in the service of Vishnu, they become perfect as servants. So the entity cannot become God at any time. No question of that. Although that's a popular theory that living entities can also become God, one with. But it's only half the story. The story is that living entities are one with the Lord, simultaneously and different. This philosophy explains how the living entities are related to the Supreme Lord, generally. And the Supreme Lord not only is related to the living entities, it's related to every bit of matter as well. Matter is also his energy. Come on over here, Avisha. Eight energies, material energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then there's another energy, the living entities are power Brahman. These energies are superior because they have consciousness. The entity without consciousness, although in the higher sense, can also be understood as consciousness, but very low consciousness. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that these higher living entities are souls, the marginal potency. And that's the position of the Jews. And when the Jews is out of illusion, he realizes that he's a spiritual being, servant of Krishna, then he's on Brahma Buddha platform. He's liberated. He doesn't have to go through any of the miserable aspects of living in the material world. He can live in the spiritual world where there's no unhappiness, Vaikuntha, no anxiety. That's his nature. So, you can go back to the verse and keep it there. So it's not a question of evolving, but how matter becomes alive somehow. No, it is described here that routine Daksha, or Daksha, that is one of the sons of Brahma, Brahmaputra, is a great river in India called Brahmaputra. It's for Daksha. And he takes that form. Just like Yamuna, Goddess Yamuna, she has her demigod-like form, and then she also has a river, Ganga. Most of the rivers are female, but there are some male rivers also. Brahmaputra's one. So, Brahma he generates living entities or offspring in various ways because he's unique. He's especially empowered to generate children, offspring, in other ways other than just the normal way, a husband and a wife, man and woman. He can generate through his mind. He's so powerful he's given the ability to create, not that he creates living entities, because they're always existing. But the bodies that they get, Brahma can generate them from his mind, some of them, or from different parts of his body. That's unique. And those living entities are not backwards, they're very advanced. You see the 10 sons, 10 original sons of Brahma, Narada Muni and 4 Kumaras, the sons of Brahma. And they're supposed to help him, assist him in generating more living entities. Therefore, they're known as Prajapatis. Krishna, Brahma is the original, almost original, second Prajapati. Therefore, he's called grandfather. And Daksha, his line is different. Mostly, the great kings, Kshatriyas, they would produce sons. And through their sons, their dynasty would carry on. But in this case, Daksha, he produced sons, first of all, 100,000 Haryashvas, 100,000 sons. But Narada Muni went there and converted them all into sannyasis. They were preparing themselves to become grihastas, householders. But Daksha wanted. He was training them, sent them to the Manas River, very nice, holy place. He had it all arranged. They were going to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedas so that they would be able to become pious and have beautiful wives and have wonderful children. And he thought in this way, his line is sending descendants that would all be created this way. But Narada Muni convinced them, the sons, that they should not get involved in this family business, producing children and grandchildren. I was with one of my friends from college not too long ago. We happened to meet, and he was telling me how most pleasure he gets when his children go call him Grandpa. Grandpa. Those who are not from America, they can be told what the grandpa is. He got so much pleasure, he said, his grandchildren call him Grandpa. That's generally what happens. We think that that pleasure is so nice. But actually, Narada Muni was correct in saying this is a higher pleasure. Higher pleasure than trying to be the father of the father of the father is to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Das, das, das. Yes, one should consider himself servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. That's our eternal position. temporarily we may be stationed in this lifetime as a father or a grandfather or a grandmother or daughter, these different temporary situations. It's not a real position, not who we really are. We're trying to imagine that we're something like Brahma, and we're going to be the father and be the grandfather. It's not a real position. Real position is we're servants of Krishna. Servants of the servant and servant. And when we realize that, then we're perfectly situated. And then we're eligible to go back to the spiritual world, enjoy eternal life of bliss and knowledge. That's what we're aiming for. And so, hearing about the sons of Daksha, or then what happened was, and finish the story. Daksha, he first of all became very angry at Narad Muni. He had some real bad thoughts, but he got over it. In fact, he had some more children, sons, 10,000 this time, not so many. And they were sent to a certain holy place. So it was easy for Narad Muni to come again, and he convinced them they should follow their older brothers. It's your duty to follow your older brother. It's like Arjuna and Bhima and Nakula Sahadev, very, very faithful to their older brother. Whatever Yudhishthira wanted, they did. So Narad Muni said, you should do whatever your older brothers did. You should follow the same path as them. So they did. They also became sannyasis. This time, Daksha really became angry. And he cursed Narad Muni. But he had to go on, so he decided to have female children. Now they're able to tell what to tell is. Most of the time they can tell whether it's a male or female child in the womb before the child. But in those days, the higher class person, they could determine, you decide whether they want to have male or female children. So he wanted female children, and these daughters were very powerful. And so then he gave them away. It's the duty of the father to give away in charity his daughters. Daughter goes with the husband. When the daughter, she goes with her husband. And they're in their place. So these daughters went and lived. Daksha gave them away to different persons like sages, some of them were Brahmins, some gave away to others. And hearing about them is auspicious because they are related with Brahma. And Brahma is so related with Vishnu. His birth takes place from the lotus flower, from the navel of Vishnu. You'd want to hear about that. You're going to understand the history of the human species. And you'd like to hear about Manu. You even found out that Manu is the same father of mankind. That we are we're coming from fellow mankind also. We're coming from Manu. And they married, after securing their wives, the two daughters of Son Manu. So this is very auspicious to hear about this type of family tree. We like to have this type of genealogy. This is the real thing. Now, you might say that Daksha is not his eternal form, so it's also temporary and not important. That's what Arjuna, Narada told sons of Daksha. And that's true. But still, these persons are so powerful and so close to the Lord that their offspring is very important. And we like to know this. We're interested in history. But history is not, like nowadays, they don't have much history past a few thousand years. They have a very difficult time explaining what happens. They said millions of years ago, there was, they give some theories, nothing concrete. Here we have written this Bhagavatam, written by Vyasa. And Vyasa is a great sage. He isn't speaking anything untrue, or he says it's true. Now, they may contest that. I don't believe that there was such a person as Vyasa. I don't believe that there was a four-headed man named Brahma. I don't believe any of this. Why not? What better theory have you got? That he comes from amoebas, humans. And that's more difficult to believe than believing that God is a person. He says, man is created after the image of God. So that goes with that, goes well. And we also agree with that. We see illustrations of God in his form, his original form, and Bhagavan, Krishna. He's two-handed, plays a flute, his hair has two legs, and humans do. Brahma has four heads, that's rare. It's unique in the whole line, so there's not others that have four heads. You have to don't be coming up with that in every generation. It's the first one. And we happen to be in the Brahma Sampradaya. And our Sampradaya Acharya, the leading one, of course, after Krishna, because Krishna is the first one of all the four Sampradayas, Vaishnavas. And we have Brahma, and from Brahma comes Narad Muni, and Vyasadeva, and Madhvacharya, and then down Madhavendra Puri, and you may say, why is Lord Chaitanya in there? He didn't have any children. But this is just a succession that's based on transcendental knowledge, not simply birth. Because Lord Chaitanya had no children, but he had followers. This is Rupa Goswami, and they may have not, some of them didn't have children either, but they had followers. So it's not necessary to have children to continue the line of civilization. One can do it by teaching, by instruction. And there's other ways to create children, offspring. You can do it through sacrifice. These personalities, they could perform sacrifices. They would engage brahmanas, they'd get the most powerful brahmanas, and they would arrange for a big sacrifice. And if these brahmanas were qualified, then they would be able to produce children for the king, on behalf of the king. Sometimes they would come out of the fire, like Draupadi and Krishna. They came out of the fire. Two brahmanas, they arranged to fulfill the desire of Drupada. King Drupada wanted a son that would be able to kill. Another story, but he wanted a son that would be able to kill Krishna. So you can get sons from the sacrificial fire or by diksha, siksha, when he turns down knowledge, you get sons. We have disciples, they are the same as children. Therefore, Prabhupada said that his disciples are, he's the spiritual father. We have our biological father, but spiritual father is the spiritual master. And the Vedas are the Veda Mata, they're the mother, spiritual mother of the disciple. So this type of begetting is good. And some prefer getting offspring and turning them in Krishna consciousness. It's very good. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if I could produce pure devotees, I'm prepared to have sex like 100 times. I can produce pure. So that's a great challenge for those who take up the Grihastha to produce at least one son like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One moon is worth many thousands or more than thousands of stars in giving off light. So, as a great service to produce one devotee. And you can produce more, offspring is good, or produce them by preaching. There's so much facility for preaching in the world. People are in ignorance and they don't know where they're going. So just take some of those ignorant people that are blind and lead them in the right way. And they'll be happy to be saved from the misery of birth, death, old disease. Thank you very much for your Bhagavatam. Shri Thai ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Word better.
Thank you, everybody.
Krishna deities now. Govindan.
Hare Krishna.
Vyasa Sakalam Siyavitimanti Bhajan Chipam Anti Sham Ananda Ram Hare Gana Ega Om Nam Krishna Kirtan Gana Tapra Prema Sambham Ji Shit Anubat Vido Vijanvito Opi Am Am Vinodi Am Onde Utak Anatlo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare